Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be talking to you about my F.T.A.C rifle, or Recce rifle, or whatever you want to call it. But this is the rifle that I will primarily be using for F.T.A.C. So to start off with, my F.T.A.C rifle is basically, it's a Recce rifle. It's the rifle that I use for general purpose, for mainly everything. And in this video I'm going to be explaining, everything that's on it, what the paint job scheme is, everything that I had in mind when creating this rifle. So, start off with, this rifle was originally a Tokyo Marui M4A1, and I liked it. I like quad rails quite a lot because they're very modular, and they're quick, they're ready to go. You don't need to spend money on rails to put stuff on it. So I liked it at first. 13.5 barrel, which is quite a nice length really if you're wanting to go into recce but also be able to, say, go into more close ranges. So that's what I went with. I went with the M4A1, and quite quickly I ended up putting a URGI handguard on. This is the Mark 16 Angry Gun one. I don't know, but it's basically the Geisley replica one that they have in airsoft. So yeah, that's basically what this rifle is. Now I'm going to talk to you about the accessories that I have on there. So starting with the tip, I have a big Dragon suppressor. Obviously, as you can see, it's like the dead air suppressor style one. Yeah, I really like it. It's just a twist off. There's no like locking bit. So once you twist off, there's actually this little pin inside which grips onto these little cutouts along the muzzle, and the muzzle is filleted. So pretty bog standard. Yeah, full metal, it's hollow. This actually it used to be quite an interesting colour, like a bronzy colour, so I just sprayed over that with some black, and it screws on, and then the pin clicks, and then once it stops, there you go, it's on. It's pretty secure. I did try out like the Surefire Warden style type ones, and I really liked them, but a little bit too front heavy for my liking. The whole idea of this was to keep it light. The reason why I chose the URGI style handguard was to keep it light, keep that weight down, because quad rails, they can get quite heavy, and especially if you're adding more and more bits onto it, it gets really, really heavy. Not just that, but if I'm shooting from long range and then I'm moving in to shorter ranges, not quite CQB, but maybe in a field environment that we're in today, then I want something light, something that I can carry, run with really easy. Yeah, that's the reason why I chose that, and that's the reason why I wanted a lighter suppressor in there. You don't have to have one, they can look cool, so that's why I went with it. It's the only thing on here I'd say I went with because it looks cool. It serves no purpose really. I'm a big believer on everything has to serve either one purpose or two. I like to have dual purposes on most things, but yeah, sue me. That's why I have that one. Moving on round to the other side of the rail, I have a Surefire Scout Light, and I've just got like this bog standard pressure pad there. I've just put some camo wrap around that just to keep it close. Don't have a laser on here, just haven't got around to putting one on there. Yeah, moving around onto the sling, I've actually attached some paracord onto the front of my rail to keep the sling on. I don't use sling points in my recce rifles or recce builds or anything for F.T.A.C. That's just because I like to keep things really quiet. It's not a necessity, but you find that once you're running around, people can easily hear you because your rifle is just incessantly rattling, and it is so frustrating because you could just be found out because it rattles or your gear rattles. So I kind of like to keep things relatively quiet, and the main culprit for that is QD points. Unfortunately, they just rattle like hell. Obviously there are some things that you just can't help, but if you can help them, you have to help them. Okay, so now moving down across the rail, we have our Optic. The Optic that I chose for this was a Vortex Crossfire. It's just a simple red dot. It's similar to like the Aimpoint T1s or T2s and stuff. I really like it. It's got a lifetime warranty. Vortex for me have always been a really good brand. I know I can rely on them to just give me good performance on an Optic, and they've got a great red dot system. It also has night vision and stuff on it, so that's pretty cool. As you can see, like I painted a little bit over it. But I don't have the original Vortex mount to it. Instead I decided to go for a Unity mount, so I've got the Unity mount under there. And then moving across, I've just got a Holy Warrior flipped side EOTech style magnifier. I was surprised that it worked pretty well with the Vortex Crossfire. I wasn't sure how capable they'd be together. But yeah, they work pretty well together. I'm pretty happy with that. Got them nicely zeroed in at the moment, so that's all pretty good. And then just got a standard like softmod stock A2 grip. Everything's basically stock. I haven't changed the internals. It did run off Dean's battery. Now I've just got it hooked up to LiPo, just easier for me. I know a lot of people argue, oh, Dean's is better, LiPo's better. I just prefer LiPo. A little bit easier. I get on with it, it's fine, it doesn't bother me. Yeah, sling I chose for this was just Ferro Concept Slingster. Just really nice and padded, especially if I want to add some more weight. I found a lot of slings, like my old T-Rex arm sling. It was just quite thin, wasn't padded enough to add more weight to stuff. So it just got pretty uncomfortable, and you get like some neck chafing with it as well after long journeys and stuff. So I just decided to go to a slightly more padded, a little bit wider kind of sling, and it's going pretty well. You might have seen I've used it for a lot of the FTAC stuff recently, and I really love it. And the details on the sling, you can see I haven't actually cut this sling at all. Reason being, I might want to swap it out to other things, but also I might want to lengthen it. You know, you grow, you put more kit on. I might get some more kit, bigger kit that I want to extend this sling to. So what I've done is just the remains of the sling I've just taped up. I just find that's the easiest thing, because especially if I want to swap it out to something else. Okay, so reason being, going back to the beginning, I picked a 13.5 just because that's a really nice barrel length to be shooting at the ranges that I shoot at, especially for FTAC, because it's field and forest. So in the forest it's pretty nice. You know, I can kind of go through the tree lines, and it's pretty easily manipulatable, if that's a word. So I can kind of go around the trees, potentially enter some buildings with it as well. It works pretty nice. It's a nice length. Without the suppressor as well, it's even shorter, so that's an even better length. I think coming up to the winter, I am going to be training some CQB with this, just to see how it goes. But yeah, so what is this compared to other sizes? So that's a 13.5, and then we have a 14.5 there. Now, reason why I didn't want to go for 14.5 is a lot of the rifles at 14.5 are quite heavy, like this 416. Not just that, but it's you can't control it quite as much, especially if I'm moving into kind of medium ranges or close ranges. The barrel length is just quite long at that point. It's not easy to manipulate, you can't control it enough. So yeah, that's just a 416 to give you an example of a 14.5 inch barrel. It's just a little bit too excessive for what I want. And then here we have an 11.5, and that compared to the 13, it's just completely dwarfed by it. 11.5s, they have their place. You know, I love this Mark 18. You've seen it in a lot of the content that we've had, a lot of the posts. I think a while back, maybe this time last year, we did a few specials with just this rifle. Yeah, we've got a lot more planned for this rifle, but this is my medium range kind of rifle, and basically with this rifle I'm going to do another video about it, talking about my mid ranges, maybe compare this to the other 416, but yeah, that's compared to my main F.T.A.C rifle. Now, the reason why I wanted to go Recce, as I've already said, we're moving from forest into field or one or the other, so it's important to be able to shoot at those higher ranges, because that's what Recce rifles do, that's what they're supposed to do. So you want to be meeting those targets, you want to be capable of shooting at longer ranges. Finally, we move on to, quite frankly, just the appearance of the rifle, and just some tips that I'm going to pass on to you guys. So as you can see, it's painted, used to be black, now I've painted over it. It is starting to chip off, so I might redo it at some point. But what I simply did was I went over it in NATO green, just fully went over the whole thing, NATO green, and then I put some foliage, so I grabbed some ferns and some leaves, laid it over, I put some ferns over that, and then I put some khaki over that, did the same thing again, and then as you can see, it gives off quite a nice foliage pattern. And then what I did was I just got some coyote paint, and I just did some stripes just to break up the pattern even more. So the whole point is to be breaking up that pattern. Now, a lot of people think that you should be doing like tiny little details on your rifle, your Recce rifle. That's not necessarily the case. I find that bigger shapes, like the stripes, the bigger leaves and stuff, breaks up the shape just a little bit better, because you're not looking to be invisible, you're not looking to be concealable at a close range. You want somebody to not be able to quite make out what you're carrying from a further distance. If somebody's trying to spot where we are, where my team is, I don't want them to know what capabilities I have. I don't want them to know whether I'm running a short AR or whether I'm running a 13.5 barrel that could potentially take them out from that distance. That's the whole point of it. You want to break up that pattern from a distance. So I know many of you might not have a land plot or distance to be able to do this, but where you can, obviously permitting the location, once you've painted your rifle, just stand it up against something in a distance, maybe up against a tree in the grass, and then walk back, say 75 yards or so, look at it. Can you see it? If you can see it, that's okay, because you're going to see roughly that it's there, plus you already know it's there. But whether it's distinguishable as a rifle, can you see what barrel length it is? What can you see about it? Can you see the optic? Things like that really stand out from a distance, and you need to just make sure that those have been painted up. So that is basically the conclusion to this video. I hope you guys liked it. I'm going to do some other videos on my kit, my rifles in future. We're going to kind of label this as an F.T.A.C kind of video, because it is my F.T.A.C rifle, or Recce rifle, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, and just remember that a rifle cannot really be used in airsoft as a standalone. You need your kit, you need a little bit of training here and there. Our audience, I know that you guys like to train a lot, just keep on training. We're going to be coming out with some more F.T.A.C stuff up at Camp Atlas. A few of you have asked where that is. It's literally just our forest plot. Right here is our field plot, and then we have our forest plot further up, which is, it's pretty sweet to have that. And we're going to be doing some more videos later on about kit, about bags, camouflage, clothing, anything that you guys think that you want us to produce a video on. Please just leave a comment, message us, feel free to do anything like that. Let us know what you want, and we'll try and deliver on that. So thank you.